welcome back to part 2 of Babe, the Gallant Pig. If you remember yesterday, Farmer Hoggett won a pig at the fair in town. Not that he much wanted the pig, but he brought him home anyway. And we knew that Farmer Hoggett's dog, his collie dog Fly, had 4 puppies. And she was teaching them the tricks of the trade and how to be a farm dog. So, continuing on from yesterday, a convenient stack of straw bales allowed the dogs to look down into the box through the bars. So they're looking at the pig. It certainly looks stupid, said one of the puppies, yawning. At the sound of the words, the piglet glanced up quickly. He put his head to one side and regarded the dogs with sharp eyes. Something about the sight of this very small animal standing all by itself in the middle of a roomy, loose box touched Fly's soft heart. Already she was sorry that she had said the pigs were stupid, for this one certainly did not appear to be so. Also, there was something dignified about the way it stood its ground, in a strange place, confronted with strange animals. How different from the silly sheep, who, at the mere sight of a dog, would run aimlessly about, crying, "Wolf, wolf," in their empty-headed way. "I'm a large white," said the piglet. "Blimey," said one of the puppies. "If that's a large white, what's a small one like?" And they all 4 sniggered. "Be quiet," snapped Fly. "Just remember that 5 minutes ago you didn't even know what a pig was." And to the piglet she said kindly, "I expect that's your breed, dear. I meant, what's your name?" "I don't know," said the piglet. "Well, what did your mother call you, to tell you apart from your brothers and sisters?" said Fly, and then wished he hadn't. For the mention of his family, the piglet began to look distinctly unhappy. His little forehead wrinkled and he gulped, and his voice trembled as he answered. She called us all the same." "And what was that, dear?" "Babe," said the piglet, and the puppies began to giggle until their mother silenced them with a growl. "But that's a lovely name," she said. "Would you like us to call you that? It will make you feel more at home." At this last word, the little pig's face fell even further. "I want my mum," he said very quietly. At that instant, the collie made up her mind that she would foster this unhappy child. "Go out in the yard and play," she said to the puppies, as she climbed to the top of the straw stack and jumped over the rail and down into the loose box beside the piglet. "Listen, Babe," she said. "You've got to be a brave boy. Everyone has to leave their mother. It's all part of growing up. I did it when I was your age, and my puppies will have to leave me quite soon, but I'll look after you, if you like." Then she licked his little snout with a warm, rough tongue, her plumed tail wagging. "There, is that nice?" A little while later, Farmer Hoggett came into the stables with his wife to show her his prize. They looked over at the loose box and saw, to their astonishment, Fly curled up around the baby piglet. Exhausted by the drama of the day, Babe lay fast asleep against his new-found foster parent. "Well, will you look at that?" said Mrs. Hoggett. "That old Fly, she'll mother anything. Kittens, ducklings, baby chicks, she's looked after all of them. Now it is a pig. Isn't he lovely? What a picture. Good thing he doesn't know where he'll end up. But he'll be big then, and we'll be glad to see the back of him. Or the hams of him, I should say. Shan't we? Wonder how I'll get it all in the freezer." "Pity, really," said Farmer Hoggett absently. Mrs. Hoggett went back to her kitchen, shaking her head, all the way across the yard as she thought of her husband's soft-heartedness. The farmer opened the loose box door, and to save the effort of a word, clicked his fingers to call the dog out. As soon as Fly moved, the piglet woke and followed her, sticking so close to her that his snout touched her tail tip. Surprise forced Farmer Hoggett into speech. "Fly," he said in amazement. Obediently, as always, the collie turned and trotted back to him. The pig trotted behind her. "Sit," said Farmer Hoggett. Fly sat. Babe sat. Farmer Hoggett scratched his head. He could not think of anything to say. Chapter 3. Why Can't I Learn? By dark it was plain to Farmer Hoggett that whether he liked it or not, Fly had not 4 but 5 children. All the long summer evening, Babe had followed Fly about the yard and buildings aimlessly, it seemed, to the watching farmer. Though of course this was not the case. It was, in fact, a conducted tour. Fly knew if this foster child was to be allowed freedom and the constant reassurance of her company, for which he obviously craved, he must quickly learn. And clearly he was a quick learner. His way about the place. He must quickly learn his way about the place, and that must be taught, as her puppies had been taught, how to behave like a good dog. "A pig you may be, Babe," she'd begun by saying, "but if you do as I tell you, I shouldn't be a bit surprised if the boss doesn't let you run about with us, instead of shutting you up. He's a kind man, the boss is." "I knew that," said Babe. "When he first picked me up, I could feel it. I knew he wouldn't hurt me." "You wait," began one of the puppies, and then stopped suddenly at his mother's warning growl. Though she said nothing, all 4 of her children knew immediately by instinct what she meant. "Wait for what?" said Babe. You wait half a sec, and we'll take you round and show you everything," said the same puppy hastily. "Won't we, Mum?" So Babe was shown all around the yard and the farm buildings, and introduced to the creatures who lived thereabouts, the ducks and the chickens and the other poultry and the farm cats. He saw no sheep, for they were all in the fields. Even in the first hour, he learnt a number of useful lessons, as the puppies had learned before him, that cats scratch and hens peck, that turning your back on the turkey meant getting your bottom bitten, and that chicks are not for chasing and eggs are not for eating. "You do as I do," said Fly, "and you'll be all right." She thought for a moment. "There is one thing though, Babe," she said, and she looked across the back door of the farmhouse. "If I go in there, you stay outside and wait for me. Understand?" "Aren't pigs allowed in there?" asked Babe. "Not live ones," said one of the puppies, but he said it under his breath. "No, dear," said Fly. "Well, not yet anyway," she thought. "But the way you're going on, I shouldn't be surprised at anything." Funny, she thought. I feel really proud of him. He learns so quick. Quick as any sheepdog. That night, the loose box in which Babe had first been put was empty. In the one next door, all 6 animals slept in the straw together. Though he did not tell his wife, Farmer Hoggett had not had the heart to shut the piglet away. So happy was it in the company of the dogs. At first, the puppies had not been equally happy at the idea. "Mum," they said, "he'll wet the bed." "Nonsense," said Fly. "If you want to do anything, dear, you go outside. There's a good boy." I nearly said, "There's a good pup," she thought. Whatever next? In fact, in the days that followed, Babe became so dog-like, what with coming when Fly came and sitting when Fly sat and much preferring a dog's food to anything else he was offered, that Farmer Hoggett caught himself half expecting, when he patted the piglet, that it would wag its tail. He would not have been surprised if it tried to accompany Fly when he called her to go with him on his morning rounds, but it had stayed in the stables, playing with the puppies. "You stay with the boys, Babe," Fly had said, "while I see to the sheep. I shan't be long." "What's sheep?" said the piglet when she had gone. The puppies rolled about in the straw. Don't you know that, you silly babe, said one. Sheep are animals with thick woolly coats and thick woolly heads, and men can't look after them without the help of those like us, said the fourth. But why do they need you, said Babe. Because we're sheepdogs, they all cried together and ran off up the yard. Babe thought about this matter of sheep and sheepdogs a good deal during the first couple of weeks of his life on the Hoggets farm. In that time, Fly's puppies, now old enough to leave home, had been advertised for sale, and Fly was anxious to teach them all she could before they went out into the world. Daily she made them practice on the ducks, while Babe sat beside her and watched with interest. And daily their skills improved and the ducks lost weight and patience. Then there came, one after another, 4 farmers, 4 tall, long-legged men who smelled of sheep, and each picked his puppy and paid his money, while Fly sat and watched her children leave to start their working life. As always, she felt a pang to see them go, but this time, after the last had left, she was not alone. It's nice, dear, she said to Babe. I've still got you. But not all for that long, she thought. Poor little chap. In 6 months or so he'll be fit to kill. At least he doesn't know. She looked at him fondly. This foster child now called her Mum. He had picked it up, naturally enough, from the puppies, and it pleased her to hear it, now more than ever. Mum, said Babe. Yes, dear. They've gone off to work sheep, haven't they? Yes, dear. Because they're sheepdogs, like you. You're useful to the boss, aren't you? Because you're a sheepdog. Yes, dear. Well, Mum, yes, dear. Why can't I learn to be a sheep pig? That's the end of the chapter. I'm sorry that went on a little longer today, but I was keen to finish the chapter. We'll continue the story tomorrow.